everybody, this is Lee from Speech 100 and you're listening to Babae Ka Lang, the show that examines the social phenomenon in our society through speech communication.
Welcome to our fourth and final episode. Grabe ang bilis ng panahon at nasa season finale na tayo ng podcast natin. This is JD and I'm so excited for today's topic because we are going to talk about discrimination against women in the Philippines throughout the lens and theories of performance studies. First, let me talk about gender inequality and feminism. Keep in mind, gender discrimination is when someone is treated unequally or based on their sex, gender identity. It is often rooted in personal notions about what gender is, how gender should look, or how gender is performed. In feminism, it is aimed to define and establish the political, economic, personal, and social equalities of the sexes. Now, have you ever heard the phrases, "Babae ka kasi eh," "Babae ka lang," or "Ay babae, kaya pala eh"? How do you feel or think when you hear such words?
Yes, I did, and I often feel bad for my younger sister since hindi niya nakuha yung chance na ma-enjoy yung high school life niya as much as I did, like overnights and staying out late kasi nga raw, babae raw siya, so hindi pwede. And for me, that's really unfair.
Personally, I get annoyed and at the same time scared of those statements. I usually spend my free time playing video games, but I barely use my mic for comms because a part of me fears hearing those statements like, "Ay, babae, talo to," throwing, mga ganon. Pero minsan naiinis na talaga ako.
And it ain't nice because when my sister went through something, I used to make remarks against perceived feminine traits. For example, friendship issues, babae kaya puro stress, reklamo, drama, as if only women can suffer from those stresses.
Wow. And also for our listeners, you can share your experience through Twitter with the hashtag Babae Ka Lang Podcast. Alright, now let's talk about theories we've learned from our class. In the performative lenses, according to Schechner, all behavior is part of an already begun and never-ending process of rehearsals and recombination. And his view, performance is the act of showing, doing, and performance studies is the practice of explaining, showing, and doing it again. Kayo ba, anong masasabi niyo sa theory na to?
For a closer look, Schechner also said that, to perform or portray a different behavior is to get something done, impress others with what was being done, and to do it again. Example dito ay yung speech ni outgoing Vice President Leni Robredo appear to, how she makes an impact on the Women Month, quote-unquote. Hindi na natin kailangan ipagtanggol yung sarili natin bilang isang babae.
Ay, totoo. Napansin ko nga rin na laging may transition sa lahat ng aspeto ng buhay. For example, yung sa pang-araw-araw na buhay ng isang babae na maraming kinakaharap na limitasyon sa kanilang pamumuhay.
Dagdag ko lang din sa sinabi ni Lina, sa pagpe-perform ng babae sa buhay like sa sports, sa work, sa school, and even sa politics, napakaraming discrimination na nararanasan nila kaya hindi na ma-maximize yung true capabilities nila as part of the society.
It's just sad to think that women work as hard as they could just to be discriminated against. And because of this, they have to play along professional, gender, and race roles to shape identity just to perform restored behavior.
Actually, sobrang nakakalungkot eh. Based on what I've experienced from the past election, kaya pala a lot of people believe that VP Leni would never be enough because they already had the standard and qualification of a president.
Tama ka dyan, JD. Meron at meron pa rin pag-discriminate sa kakayahan ng naming mga babae dahil sa mga paniniwala o sa mga naging karanasan nila noon. According to them, VP Leni is a weak president because she is a woman nga daw.
Exactly, no? And on the other hand, let's take a look how government theorized his contribution. According to him, he said that a performance is defined as all the activity, only a given occasion, which serves influence in circumstances. When we say enacting roles, what words or situation comes to your mind, guys?
Performing something that is believed to be assigned to you.
For me, gender roles, since we're on that line of topic as well.
All right, Goffman observed people and concluded that we display a series of masks depending on the situation in terms of how we talk, how we act. Nag-represent yun kung paano tayo makitungo.
Yeah, and that's very insightful since, we get to understand that we play different parts in our lives and that are determined by the situations we take and find ourselves to be in.
Grabe, sobrang totoo, Oliver. I would like to use Miss Heidelin Diaz as an example for this theory. She also constantly changes her persona depending on the situation. This theory, reimagining constructions about how women should portray themselves na nagsasabing kung ano nga lang yung dapat na behavior ng babae sa society. Ikaw, ano sa tingin mo, Christian?
Yeah, exactly. I agree. And it breaks performance communication acts for better recognition to all women. Yung example nga natin kay Hidilyn Diaz winning the Olympic gold medal, it made us question gender performance role. Kung paano nga ba dapat maging babae sa isang society, di ba?
Actually, Miss Diaz breaks the ideologies of women that are supposed to dress accordingly, move gracefully, be physically attractive, and not do any sports or heavy lifting. These are the results of traditional beliefs passed through from generation to generation. But why do people always want to be the best in the eyes of others or wear their best masks when performing acts?
Actually, Goffman said that we accidentally change masks. For instance, when we were with a certain group or situation, we often choose masks. For him, each of one of us has a fixed character. And for our last theory, Victor Turner studied rituals and rites of passages and revealed the drama and flux of everyday social life. And social dramas are indeed implicated in the intersection of rhetoric and performance. Example na nga lang ay yung mga powerful women who stands for their pride and dignity para lang ipaglaban ito, no? Alam ko marami kayong kilala. Kayo ba, ano sa tingin nyo yung mga personal experience or story nyo about it? Grabe, sobrang dami ko pang gustong pag-usapan.
Since it is our season finale, let's recap all of our topics in the previous episodes of Babae Ka Lang podcast. In episode 1, we discussed discrimination against women through the lens of interpersonal communication. We learned about how misconceptions and stereotypes started with the relationships we've built, while also integrating Stella Tubi's face negotiation theory.
In episode 2, we discussed how instructional communication teaches and influences aspiring learners. It can be used against feminism, but the theories and pedagogical techniques can also be used to share new ideas and knowledge that disprove the logical reasoning of the biases against women in the Philippines. With an example being disproving how women can also, do the things men do.
In episode 3, we discussed the rhetoric behind sexism in the Philippines, especially in politics. We analyzed President Duterte's speech patterns using the classical rhetoric theory to understand why sexism is still prevalent in our country, where women's credibility as leaders will always be unjustly questioned.
And in this episode, we discuss and analyze 3 different theories using the lens of performance studies about feminism and our own personal experience.
Thanks for supporting the Babae Ka Lang podcast. We hope you enjoyed our in-depth analysis of the discrimination against women in the Philippines using speech communication theories. Once again, I am Lee.
I'm Christian.
I'm Oliver.
And I am JD. That's all for this episode and this series, folks. See you next time on the Babae Ka Lang podcast.